Hello! So we've got a new DevBlog by the old school RuneScape team called Content Poll number 23. This developer blog will run through the poll questions that will be found on Content Poll 23, which will be starting on Wednesday the 8th of August and running until Wednesday the 13th of August. So let's start off with in-game polls. They've been running a little survey about letting you vote in polls from within the game rather than going to the website. Click here for my video on the survey. The survey is still running, but so far it looks like there's a lot of support for the idea. At the moment, over 80% of the voters would like the option of voting in-game. The website form will still remain available for players who prefer it. It's not just about convenience. By bringing the poll into the game, they're able to do things that the website currently doesn't support. For a start, they'll be able to post links to illustrations and other useful information to help ensure people know what they're voting about. They'd also like to change how the calculations work. In future they could add an abstain option to the polls, then calculate the yes and no percentage from the people who voted yes or no. The website poll system simply doesn't offer that sort of flexibility, and in-game they can avoid the issue where the website rounds values like 74.5 up to 75%, making the results look ambiguous. As a little bonus, the in-game poll results page will be able to show what the choices you made when you voted in the poll yourself. So, from the survey, it looks like the most popular way of offering in-game poll menus is to add poll booths. The alternative suggestions, such as putting the menu on characters like town criers, on an item, or on a new button, have received far less support. So what they're going to be offering is to add a poll booth to most towns and cities across the world, placing the booths in vicinity of the bank buildings so that players can access them easily, but without making them too obstructive. The polls will offer a menu for voting in whatever poll is running at the time, and will let you browse the results of the old pages. The website form will remain available for players who prefer using it. If there's a poll running and you haven't yet voted and you're eligible to vote in it, the game will send you a little message when you log in. It'll appear in your chat box like the Welcome to RuneScape message without any form of pop-up. So in the upcoming content poll, the question will be, should they add poll booths to the game world so that players have an option of voting either in-game or on the website? Which I think is a very good idea. Next we have the Bounty Hunter Target System. The Bounty Hunter Target System is a simple game mechanic that challenges players in the wilderness to take out a specific opponent. They're proposing the target system is added to the wilderness on one world in order to draw people to that world and create an active PKing environment. It's entirely optional whether you choose to chase your target or not. If they wish, they can just do PKing as they usually would. If you want to know more about the Bounty Hunter Target System, click here for my video on that. So the question in the upcoming content poll will be, should they add Bounty Hunter Target System into the wilderness on one world? Personally, I don't think it's much of a good idea. Next we've got the Super Combat Potions. Super Combat Potions are created with a Super Attack, Super Defense, Super Strength and Torso Herb. They will require 90 herblets to create. The Super Combat Potion will function as a standard Super Potion combined into one handy potion. Super Combat Potions will be tradable. So the question will be, should we add the ability to create a tradable Super Combat Potion from an Attack Potion, Super Defense Potion, Super Strength Potion and Torso Herb? The potion will act as all three potions combined into one. There will be no additional stat boost. I think this is a bit of a controversial question, so I'm going to have to think about that one. And hopefully by the time we get to the content poll, me and the rest of the community will have more of a consensus about what that should be. Next we've got the Shove Special Attack Changes. When using the Dragon Spear, Zamorakian Spear or Zamorak Hasta, if multiple people special attack the same target simultaneously, the special attacks queue up and take effect one after the other, completely preventing any actions from being taken by the target until the queued special attacks have all hit. So they're proposing that the special attack can be changed so that if you're in the middle of being shoved and the second attacker tries to shove you while the first shove is still in effect, the second attacker's shove will be ignored. You will be immune to getting shoved until at least one tick after your last shove ends. So players cannot completely disable you for significant periods of time. So the question will be, should the special attacks of the Dragon Spear, Zamorak Spear and Zamorak Hasta be changed so they do not queue and instead ignore incoming special attacks if the target is already affected? I partially like that. I think maybe they could put a limit on it, so maybe say 5 shoves or whatever. Next we've got the Recipe for Disaster Glove Changes. Recipe for Disaster gloves are completely lost on death. They would like to change this so that 60% of the cost of the gloves is dropped on the ground when gloves are lost. No coins will be generated, as the cost of the gloves will be more than the cover of the gloves being dropped on the floor. The gloves will still act as an effective money sink. So the question will be, should Recipe for Disaster gloves be converted to an appropriate amount of coins when lost on death? Personally, I'm not that bothered either way. I mean, I know the higher level gloves are more expensive, but for the low level gloves I doubt it's much of an issue. But then again, I guess most people do use the higher level gloves. But anyway, next we have the Superheat and Enchant Jewelry spell delay. If you're casting the Superheat spell or the Enchant Jewelry spells repeatedly, and you go on a bit too fast, the game ignores you. Last year they changed the Alchemy spell so that your next Alch casting will be queued up to run after your last one. And many players have asked them to do this for the Superheat spell and the Enchant Jewelry spells as well. The rate at which the spells can be cast will not be affected, only one casting could be queued at a time. So the question will be, should the Superheat and Enchant Jewelry spells be updated so that if you cast them too fast, one casting is queued up to run when the last one finished? Now that sounds like a good idea, especially seeing as we've got it on Alchemy. So the other questions. Should they add Marks of Grace to all the other agility courses? That sounds like a good idea, especially because Rooftop Agility has kind of killed off the other courses. Should they add a Furnace and Anvil to the Wilderness Resource area? I think that's the limit they could do, as long as there's no nearby banks, that could be alright. Should the rewards from Barbarian Assault Gamble be improved? I don't think many people really do that, so I don't see any issue with it. Also, it could improve the popularity of the minigame. Should they add a super rare Penance Queen pet as a reward from high level gambles? I really like the idea, especially because the fact it's a high level gamble, you're not guaranteed to get the pet. Should they add a Grind X option for Bird's Nest? That sounds like a good idea. Should they add a plus 15 range defense to Bando's boots? That was offered in Poll 18 but with a plus 20 and received 74.8% support. Now I'm not really sure why they wanted to add this, so I'm not too sure how good an idea that is. Should they have a dedicated arena for no movement duels to prevent griefing in duels? That sounds like a quite good idea. Should the Iban staff be able to autocast the Iban Blast? That sounds like a decent idea. Should they add pet insurance? Show an NPC your pet, and if you lose it, you can pay a substantial fee to re-obtain it. I don't really like that idea. I mean, it's kind of a fun idea to think about, but practicality is it's not as fun. Should they add a player-owned house menagerie? A room in your player-owned house that can store your pets. I think that's quite a good idea. Maybe it could be a higher level room because a lot of the new pets are higher level. Should you be able to use the minigame teleports without joining the minigame chats? Now personally I think they should remove those minigame teleports, so I'm going to say no to that. Should there be a tooltip showing your friend's previous display name? I think that's a really good idea. I sometimes look at the friends list and have no idea who I'm talking to. Should Ankus found in the wilderness drop higher quantities of dark fishing bait? I think that's a good idea. I don't really know how many people do dark crab fishing, but it might increase the amount they do. Should they add a graceful outfit set bonus to make your energy recharge 30% faster when wearing the complete set? I quite like that idea. It will make having the whole set more worth it. Currently I've got most of the set. I don't have the cape or the boots. Should your special attack bar be visible when wielding a weapon that doesn't have one? I don't really see the point in having that, although if someone wants to switch to a special attack quickly, then it might help, but I can only really see that being a big issue in PKing. And finally, should they add a right-click quick exit option to the exits within Pyramid Plunder? That actually sounds like a really good idea. I believe that's slightly dangerous minigame, so it just might help for the lower levels. So hopefully Content Poll 23 will be really good. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and comment. If you want to keep up to date with more old school RuneScape, subscribe. I've been Lewis. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.